From awkward moments...
He's looking at me silently.
...to embarrassing ones.
You don't have anything. You don't have anything that's worth a week of programming on this show.
Here are some of the most unexpected, cringeworthy, and downright bizarre moments on the Joe Rogan Podcast. Because given a library of literally thousands of episodes, it's hardly surprising that every now and then you'll stumble upon a moment you'd rather just erase. Starting off with one of the most uncomfortable moments on the podcast, which took place during Joe's interview with Mike Tyson and sparked after Joe completely misread the room and assumed Mike was joking around when in fact he was dead serious.
That's why when I saw that video, I was like, oh.
Want me to tell you something about that video?
Yeah.
I did that video and I was in bed for a week. That was 30 seconds and I was in bed for a week. And it's not funny because it made me realize that this is big boy shit, okay?
Big boy
This big boy shit. You was
there
out,
it is right there.
Yeah, that wasn't really cool.
And then only a few moments later, this interaction took place.
What does it mean when fighting gets you erect? What does that mean?
It's a good question. It means you're getting excited.
Yeah.
So that's going through your mind right now.
Well, that's how I get when I was a kid, and sometimes I get the twinkle.
But saying that it gets you orgasmic, that's a strange thing to say.
Well, that's just what I want. I wanted to find out because you're really bright, and I thought you would figure it. No, I'm being very serious.
No, I know. I know you're being serious, but I mean, no one will understand that other than you.
Followed by a very uncomfortably long silence after Mike said this.
Because you have to listen, Alexander the Great was 32 and he conquered the known world.
Yeah.
In 10 years.
And so thinking about that as a young man.
Absolutely.
That silence felt like an eternity, but on the opposite end of the spectrum was episode 1267, where two diet specialists clashed, and the conversation became a series of constant interruptions over their differing views on nutrition.
That were done. So that's my perspective on that. But I want to go back to this energy.
Can I comment on
Gary,
that
you talked
study?
for a long time, and I'm going to talk for as long as I want now. I want to talk about human energy metabolism and this idea of the 10 extra calories a day. Gary, I really continue to get the feeling that you do not understand human energetics because that's not how it works.
Well, no, I'm just saying 10 calories stored in the fat tissue. That's
10
just
calories,
mathematics.
10 calories.
I didn't say anything about
Gary,
how much you have to eat.
I'm not done.
Okay, no, but you're insulting me,
Gary,
Stephen. You got to stop doing that, dude.
Gary.
You keep acting like you think I'm an idiot.
All right, are you done now? Are you done?
Can we be clear that we're talking about...
Are you done now?
As tensions began to rise, Joe felt the need to step in and defuse the situation.
Can I just finish this?
No, you can't
you
until
can't
I am
attack
done.
me without... No,
Gary,
you can't
you
attack-
have time to respond.
You can respond, write down notes on what you want to respond to, and after he's done, you can talk
Yeah,
about
but we're going to get
Now,
into a
look,
long
study-
discourse on
Well, listen-
something that's not the point.
Well, let's
No,
find out if it
the
is the point. We
Yeah,
don't know what
it
he's
is
going to
the point.
say.
Thank you. Okay. Now,
At least Joe was just a bystander as the two argued on, which can't be said for this next clip from episode 1572, as this time it was Joe who stirred up some serious discomfort.
How are you so good at rock, paper, scissors?
Just, skill, muscle, intuition.
Intuition. Can we play right now?
You want to play?
Yes.
Oh, but I only play for stakes.
Okay. What do you want to play for?
How about if I win, I do the programming on your show for a week?
No. That's worth a lot of money. You can f*** off.
What kind of money? What do you think I'm
That's
going to...
like-
I'm not saying like the ads or whatever. I'm
It'd
saying
be like programming, like who's going to be on.
Yeah, who's going to be on.
That's not possible. That's ridiculous to flip a coin on that. There's no chance.
Well, do you think that there's something of equivalent value?
No.
There's
Of
nothing.
that?
Nothing that I can do.
No. There's nothing that you could give me that would be worth a week of programming on the show. What are you going to give me? You'd
What
have
about
to
a day of programming?
You'd have to give me
What-
a spectacular amount of money.
Money is off the table. We can't do
Money's
money.
off the table?
Forget that.
All right. Sounds like someone's scared to lose at rock, paper, scissors.
It sounds like someone else is scared to lose it.
No,
right?
you're asking me for something that's ridiculous. You don't have anything. You don't have anything that's worth a week of programming on this show. You don't have it.
That's rough.
It doesn't exist.
That's rough.
No, it doesn't. It literally doesn't exist. Like there's not. Like you don't. There's nothing that you can have that you can offer me that I couldn't buy myself.
I'll make
or,
you. I'll make. I'll.
No,
people
no,
I
no.
think will be interesting.
No,
You'll
no,
enjoy
no.
talking with them.
You can't. No.
All right, fine. Okay.
But that doesn't
We don't
do
have to
anything
play.
for me. That does something
No,
for
no,
you.
of
That
course,
does zero
of course.
for
You
me.
would have, if you win, you would name your steak.
I don't have a steak.
Okay.
There's nothing I want from you.
all right, well.
That what you asked from me
Then-
is a
then we can't
crazy
play the
thing.
game.
If you think that was awkward, just wait for this next clip from episode number 1685, where Shane Gillis delivered a joke that fell painfully flat.
And I was like, if I get fired here, whatever, I'll just go do Joe Rogan next week and I'll be fine. Anyway, I thought that was funny. No?
What?
I was like, I
Is that what
literally
you thought?
I literally thought that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought it would be funny.
Well, it could have been funny.
Yeah.
I was booked up though.
No, it's fine. It was just funny to truly...
At least there was still some laughter involved, and the atmosphere was friendly, unlike during Joe's discussion with Steven Crowder regarding the impact of weed legalization on motor vehicle accidents, where things got a bit heated.
Traffic fatalities regarding marijuana have skyrocketed.
Google that because that's nonsense.
No,
you
we
know,
wrote about
drunk
it
driving,
on
drunk driving arrests have dropped. What do you mean you've? First of all,
Yeah, we wrote about what the sources
first of
there,
all,
the original studies.
Just because someone gets in an accident and they're high,
See, you're-
because hold on, stop.
No, hold on a second. This is
you
because you just
interrupt
want-
way too much.
No, no,
You need to stop.
you talk
hold
in
on a
paragraphs.
second.
As things started picking up, Joe called out Steven's attitude during the conversation.
Marijuana is one of the things that are good. And don't shore, man. Just like you don't shore turmeric, you don't shore ginger, you don't shore a reduced sugar diet. All those things that reduce inflammation are good
Yeah,
for you.
I don't buy that smoking marijuana would be as beneficial as a reduced sugar diet. And my point is that people
you
get
might
so
be-
offended
you
by
might
me
be
saying that
correct.
and saying, but if you want to smoke, go ahead.
You might be correct,
Shouldn't be
but
offensive.
it doesn't matter because it's not a contest to see what's the most beneficial.
The tension only grew after Joe brought up an article challenging Steven's points, where the debate started taking a more personal turn.
Since marijuana legalization, highway fatalities in Colorado are at
Hold on a
near
second.
historic lows.
You haven't bringing up the source that you want to find.
Washington
Bring up the
Post!
study right there. Yeah, Washington Post. Bring up the study that we wrote. We wrote about it on our website.
Look, I don't care about your website, you Since marijuana legalization, highway fatalities in Colorado
Since you
are
called me
at
hold on a second.
near
Since you called me hold on a second.
historic
Since you called me a
lows.
fuck.
Things got a bit tense there, much like in episode 1282 when Joe clashed with Adam Conover over their opposing views on transgender athletes.
Sports with trans athletes who are competing with with their gender, right? That is a sporting world that I'm more interested in. That's my point of view.
My point of view is that, so if you're a woman and you're a natural woman and you don't take any extra hormones or male hormones, you're not taking steroids or any sort of performance enhancing drugs, you're doing your very best to compete and you're at the top of the heap. But then someone comes along that was a man for 30 years and decides that they're going to be a woman, and this has happened, and literally transitioned a few months ago, and competes as a woman and destroys records and dominates you in that sport. That's bull, and that's not competing on a level playing field. It's not fair. It's as much cheating as taking steroids when the other person doesn't, or taking performance enhancing drugs when the other person doesn't.
Well, I disagree, and I've.
What do you disagree about?
I've already. Well, my main point being the one that I already made, right? That I don't think that there is such a thing as a perfectly level playing field. I think we decide what kind of playing field we want to have.
Sure, but we do make the distinction where we don't allow men to compete in women's divisions.
And I think that distinction may be breaking down a bit, right? And I think it may be time to break down that distinction a little bit.
So you think that males should be able to compete in the women's division of weightlifting?
No, I don't necessarily.
But they can if they transition.
Well, first of all, there's a lot of stuff to break down.
The atmosphere grew even more tense when after a while the argument steered into the delicate subject of transgender children.
If you're shooting hormones into a child and you're affecting the child's development, you're saying that's not a choice. That's nonsense. Of course it's a choice. You're choosing to chemically change this child's body. You're choosing to inject things into this child's body on a regular basis that are going to radically affect the physical development of their body.
Yeah.
And then came the topic of evolutionary-based attraction.
It's not scientific, but it is true that women are hardwired to be attracted to confident, athletic men.
I don't know if I agree with that. But
Really?
Yeah.
Things got quite serious there, which is exactly what happened seemingly out of nowhere during Joe's interview with Paul Stamets, a psychedelic specialist. During their conversation regarding portobello mushrooms, Joe asked Stamets about the dangers of them, to which his reaction was, to put it mildly, quite unexpected.
And some balance may outweigh the negative effects of the hydrazines. the agarotines in these mushrooms, but that jury is still out, so to speak.
What are the negative benefit or the negative effects of this?
This is an explosive area of conversation, and that puts my life in danger. So I reserve the right not to answer your question.
Whoa. I didn't expect that. It puts your life in danger talking about portobello mushrooms? He's looking at me silently. I will respectfully move on.
Thank you.
So anybody who's interested, just Google that and get back to me.